The Gospel of Matthew in 5 minutes or less. I grew up in Tuscaloosa in a neighborhood called Patton Place, and the front of the house faced west, so when the sun was setting, the sun's rays would just beam right in the house. I'll never forget one time my mother stood there with me at a front window pane, and she said, "George, what do you see between your nose and the window?" I said, "Mom, I only see sunlight." She said, "No, there's something more there. I'm telling you, there's something else there. What do you see?" And I kept going, "I don't see anything else." What was really cool, the sun was shining in through the window. My mother had me back up, and from this angle, there were all these dust particles that had been there the whole time, but because I backed up and looked from a different angle, they became evident to me for the first time. I think it's the same way when we read Matthew's gospel. We read, and it's an awesome gospel, but there's so much more to the gospel, and there's so much more meat than sometimes we see at first reading. So I want to give you an angle that Matthew has in so many things that he's going to bring out, some of these kind of dust particles, if you will, by shining light on who Jesus was. Here's his point. If you don't get anything else as you read through Matthew this week, which I hope you do, I want you to notice how Matthew was a Jewish tax collector writing to his fellow Jews about the Jewish Messiah. Matthew's gospel is everything Old Testament. He's going to reference the Old Testament 61 times. You'll read the word fulfilled 61 times. Matthew showing his fellow Jews, this Messiah that you've been waiting for, he's here. Allow me to introduce you to him. He's Jesus of Nazareth. We could say there's this strong Jewish flavor. In fact, right off the bat, who does Matthew tie Jesus to? Not only to Abraham, but also to David. He's the son of David. He ties him to Abraham. Those are heroes of the Old Testament. Matthew's going to tie Jesus to them. Actually, I want to give you a little quiz right here. The Anointed One. The Anointed One. I bet you know what the Hebrew word is for the Anointed One. And Matthew's going to tell us he's the one. Jesus is the one. Emmanuel, with us, Elohim. The Anointed One in Hebrew is Messiah. He's going to tell us in verse 1, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. He is the Messiah. He's the one. I bet you also know the Greek word for the Anointed One, Christos, Christ. So anytime you read about Christ or Messiah, it's talking about the Old Testament that said the Messiah is going to come, and here's what he's going to do. Matthew's going to make a point to say to his Jewish brethren, he's the one. Jesus is the one. Jewish flavor all over the place. Matthew's going to talk about feasts, festivals. He's going to talk about the temple, the synagogue. Actually, now this is really cool. Matthew is going to divide his book in a certain number. And I want to ask you, if you're writing to Jews in the first century and you want to tie Jesus to the law, specifically that he's the fulfillment of the law, what number might you use? What number would represent the law to the Jewish people? Actually, not 10, it would be 5. That's what we call the Pentateuch. Those are the first 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Do you know when you read Matthew's gospel, he has 5 teaching blocks, 5 different books within his gospel, and he's saying, in a sense, that the Old Testament that was written by Moses is pointing to Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. He's going to make that connection. Not only that, we've got everything Jewish from every angle. And if we want to see Jesus in Matthew's gospel, if we want to see who he is, look to the Old Testament. I'll finish with this. I think the Old Testament is almost like a dimly lit room when it comes to the Messiah. Matthew's going to turn the light on completely and show us who he is. But oh, there's so much more. There's so much more, not just to have the light on, but there are all these different rooms. We're just in the foyer. There are many more rooms that we can go in and investigate to see him more clearly. Jesus said, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Peace.